Well, welcome everybody. Sorry Lynn is away, but she's hunkered down in, where is she, Vermont?
Yep.
So they're probably having a great time. She's with all her grandchildren, I think. So we've got the minutes from June. Does anybody have any questions, additions, corrections, anything like that?
Just on the, excuse me, on the review of projects, we've got Route 202 feasibility study. It was really included Turk Road. You might want to put / Turk Road update. I was looking for the Turk Road stuff. I had to hunt around for a little bit. It's in there. Just so it wasn't in the heading.
Okay.
And then under the heading Doylestown Township Park and Rec Board, the second one, Ms. Goldman inquired, this is minor language thing. I might suggest Ms. Goldman inquired what dream trail we could focus on. There's a couple extra words in there.
Yeah. That's. Anything else? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, Mary Pat.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, on to the trail celebration.
No, it's boards and commissions review, revised
Oh, I'm
handbook
sorry, the handbook.
review.
Has everybody gotten a copy of that? Had a chance to look at it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything much to say about it. It's just the new handbook.
I didn't compare with the old one, so I'm not sure what revisions occurred, but
The revisions were very minor relating to bid limits and things like that. So being more compliant with what the current bid limits are. But I think, we just want to make sure a lot of people received the handbook when they were appointed, which could have been a long time ago. And so we just really want everyone to be familiar with it, sort of the do's and don'ts on being a committee, what expectations to have, participation levels, things like that. So Nancy, you wanted to add anything to that?
Sure. I had said to Stephanie, probably one of the things I was most impressed with being a new supervisor is the incredible dedication of the volunteers and the bandwidth of knowledge that they bring and dedication. And I said to her, if anything, sometimes I'm like, shoot, I know Park and Rec and Bike and Hike, everyone has good communication and there's some overlap and cross-pollination, like Tom Kelso being on planning as well. But it is great for people to know what the other committees are, how it's all interconnected. I like that piece that Stephanie has at the beginning where you can sort of see who's who with the org chart, those types of things. Because I've had different people ask another committee, like, what's my role? What can I do? How can I be involved? And so, and I had a conversation with Stephanie. I think, sometimes obviously like Bike and Hike will tie into budgeting or planning when having a vision of the trails and those types of things. So I just think it's great to just review and also thank everyone for being on the committees and all the work that they do. So but yeah, I think that's just a reminder of what we're capable of doing in a committee, and then as a role how we can all work together. That's it.
No, it's good. It's always good to have updates on all of that stuff,
Right.
just to make sure everybody's familiar with it. Because
Yeah,
some of us have been around a long time.
And I probably couldn't even put my finger on the handbook that I got before.
And I think COVID challenged all of us a little bit too, to figure out what our roles are and how we're supposed to, I mean, all of us, because it's so unprecedented. So it just sort of made sense. So
Good.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, on to our celebration, September 12th.
Yes. So Chris Stanford had shared information that there was a DCNR PEC, which is Pennsylvania Environmental Council mini grant for $500 to celebrate PA Trails Month, which is in the month of September. And so we have put in an application. We'll see what happens, but this will not be the first time that we've hosted, the Bike and Hike Committee has hosted such an event. You may remember we did one, the Party on the Parkway, and then we did a couple of trail awareness. We ran 3 trail awarenesses in like 13, 14, 15, where we had bike rides, runs, and walks that started at Doylestown Hospital. Dick Patterson did a run, he took a group of people. Steve White at the time took a group of people on the trails. Judy, I think you did a walk through the hospital gardens. The following year we had terrible weather. It was freezing. You and I were like huddled in my car, I think with the heater on, as the 5 people, you know, were brave enough to go places. And then the final year, we had just put out a message indicating, you know, here's sort of the trail map and you should sort of do it on your own. But, you know, obviously with coronavirus, people finding the trails, it was suggested by PEC and DCNR that communities hold a celebration in September. And so we decided to, you know, jump in the water again and host it. I'm teaming up with the Environmental Advisory Council. Andrea Sustin and I talked from my staff, and the Environmental Advisory Council is going to be planting trees at the Pools Corner Park and Ride lot that morning with the borough's Environmental Advisory Council as well. Usually those are big public events. Obviously with coronavirus, we need to scale it back. So our public works staff, their public works staff will make sure the holes are dug, the trees are kind of put in place. And then the EACs, and maybe bring a friend. And at 8 o'clock, that probably between 8 and 9, they'll start planting the trees. And at 11 o'clock, we're going to host a run walk event. We're going to, you know, hopefully everybody will come out. We're going to need people to lead those run walk rides, if you will. First destination as part of it is to the pump track in Doylestown Borough. And then for the more adventurous from there would be to come out to the Waltberry Trailhead. And then if people on their own want to do the Neshaminy Greenway or something like that, they can certainly do that. However, the challenge, we're going to be putting together information, sort of a brochure, taking the current map and you know, putting some information together that people can either download or take with them if we get to actually have the event, because the challenge is, you know, be resilient and be prepared to, you know, do a 180 and go virtual. So we're working with the Telecommunications Advisory Board to maybe get some of this footage ahead of time. And if we have to, we'll, you know, put the run, walk, ride on the GoPro, and we'll then make a little video and we'll put it up, and everybody can kind of do their own personal celebration virtually. So we are resilient. We are ready to go in either direction. Hopefully we'll be able to, you know, don masks and actually be in person, and, you know, have small groups go off in the run, walk, ride event, and we'll see what happens. So that's September 12th. So mark your calendars. Probably be calling on some of you who offered to help. Obviously, we had support from all the municipalities who are members. They will be promoting via social media, et cetera, the event. And so, you know, we appreciate their support and everything. So we're all in this together. And of course, not only can they ride our trails or walk and run, but certainly in Chalfont, New Britain Borough, Warrington, Doylestown Borough, et cetera. So that's
Stephanie?
sort of September 12th.
Stephanie, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, rather than, you know, trying to be prepared to do it both ways, would it make more sense to concentrate on the virtual and set things up with the video, you know, the trail, you know, having somebody do the trail with the GoPro? I mean, we have a lot of that footage already, and illustrate all that and do a really nice little film, if you will, for, you know, promoting that on the website. And that would be something that's more permanent, but it would be, you know, organized so that all the sections of trails in the area are discussed and shown, you know, both in map form and, you know, someone riding them or walking the trail.
Yeah, we have a
I know
lot of
we
footage.
have a lot of footage on that.
We do. We have Tom, who was out on a lot of the Neshaminy Greenway, Central Park. We were up at the Pine Run. You know, we did a lot of filming of Tom with the Telecommunications Board last summer. We went out and we filmed the important things, and then we did a thing with him and Lynn at Kutz, which we had a lot of noise and stuff from the roadway we didn't think we'd pick up, so that has to be reshot. But the grant application is supposed to have a sort of in-person celebration component with it, and then you're supposed to go virtual if, you know, coronavirus, you know, forces you to do that. So we have to be able to go both ways. So, I mean, I like what you're suggesting and be prepared. So, but we also have to be able to have something in person too.
Okay, I just thought it would be, you know, nice to concentrate on the one, and this gives us an opportunity to pull all that material together and, you know, get it in a format that, you know, is a really nice presentation for our cable TV and also our website, and it'll last longer than the one-day event.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do too. And I mean, I think, you know, Larry's an avid rider, you know, Roger likes to walk. So, I mean, I'd appreciate them, you know, putting on the you know, coming, getting the GoPro, and we'll show you how it works, and kind of going out and taking some of that footage for us. And then we'll do voiceovers here at the office. I think it'll be a little easier because we found in the past, when people are using the GoPros and they're riding, they tend to focus on the ride. And so you get a lot of with the wheels kind of going on. So we want to, and so commentary at the same time. So it would be easier to do voiceovers after the fact. I think it'll work out better. But, and then if Marilyn or Mary Pat want to do something, we can coordinate on trails in Chalfont and New Britain Borough as well.
Can I add on to what you said, Stephanie?
Sure,
Being
Nancy.
ad committee, they would be beyond thrilled to have something to put on the TV channel, as Stephanie, you know, mentioned, and then also trying to create something for the actual event. But there's some super talented people on there that if I can send you, like Jim Lawton, if you can help me maybe with your script and maybe how to get it together and how to use all of it. She, I think, was a TV producer for a news team. So a lot of information, trying to figure out how to use it in the best way. Maybe we can have a short-term and a long-term goal with recordings. That would be actually wonderful. It's one of my own personal goals, is just to showcase our volunteers and all the things they're doing and help you actually put it out for the rest of the world to see, especially since it sounds like a lot of children and parents will either be working from home through the end of the year or some hybrid with the schooling. So even more reason why there'll be more eyes on our website and television potentially.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So you'll reach out as you need volunteers for that.
Yeah.
Stephanie. Okay, great. On to the 202 trail feasibility. I guess.
Yeah, I could
Steve?
speak about, I could speak about that one. Yeah, I don't know if we've talked too much about this so far. I think I gave like a little overview, but now that the Turk Road studies have wrapped up, so to speak, we're going to really try to focus on this 202 Parkway study. So one of the main hurdles right off the bat was the just feasibility of how to build a trail on the 202 Parkway. Like, obviously it's very high stress, high speed. So we didn't even, it's been done before in the state, but there's not clear direction on how to build a pedestrian and bicycle facility within a limited access highway. So one of the first steps and major hurdles was to get the PennDOT statewide bicycle and pedestrian coordinator on the phone, along with some others, the District 6 representative for bikes and peds. And what was that? When was that?
It was a couple weeks ago.
Couple weeks ago. It was definitely since the last bike and hike. And we had a discussion, Stephanie, Tomko, Dave Tomko and I, and it was a very productive meeting. So what Roy Gothi said, who's the statewide bike ped coordinator, was he's working on current direction, published report, giving specific guidance on what to do, what not to do when in limited access. He says he's been working on that for quite some time. But until that comes out, he gave us direction that he thinks that this is going to work. And he also thinks that, it would just have to be set up as a municipality agreement between Doylestown and PennDOT, which we already have. So it's more so just an addendum to like existing documentation. Again, Chris, if you want to add anything there, but this I thought was a big hurdle, just to get this on PennDOT's radar, and also just talk through a couple logistics with them. It was a nice talk.
Yeah, it's I got the sense, Steve, that it's going to be formal PennDOT policy that's going to allow this, because up until this point it was something that was prohibited by their policy and their design guidance. So that's a big step in the right direction. Got the sense that it was going through the final reviews on the PennDOT side. So I was hoping that we would see something in the fall that was an official policy that would allow this type of thing to go forward. Obviously, we'd have to get in the details with the local PennDOT district about the safety aspects. It likely would have to be fenced off completely from the bypass, but we were kind of assuming that would be the case anyway. So I think we got basically we got buy-in from PennDOT that this is a feasible option, and that's really the answer we were looking for. And I think we can move forward with confidence that it's something that can happen.
Chris, they always threw the federal funded of the highway, and that we would need federal approval for this. But has that gone away?
Yeah, they've actually reached out to Federal Highway, right, Steve? He mentioned that was one of the things that's been taking a while, is that he wanted to get review and approval from Federal Highway, and sounded like he has that. They've basically said that as long as the local engineering district does their appropriate safety reviews, and that it's likely that it's separated from the highway in some fashion, probably with right-of-way fencing or fencing of some sort, that they wouldn't have a problem with it. So I think that hurdle's jumped to.
It's only taken us 30 years since we first brought this up to them say, well, it really doesn't matter, everything's okay, right?
I wasn't around.
Well, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it once on phase 1, Destination Doylestown phase 1, way back when along State Street. But since then, then we had the Parkway, which everyone thought was like a one-off, special exception. But now there's more and more push for this type of thing. And Roy mentioned that it does happen in other states already, that they allow bicycling along some of their limited access highways. So it's nothing that's hasn't been done before.
I wasn't around for the beginning of, the effort that resulted in the Parkway, where there is the trail. And I wonder if there's any tie-ins to that effort. Obviously, it was designed and built with the trail in mind, but I didn't know if there were any guidelines or applications for incorporating trail as part of a parkway. And I realized the built section that we're talking about wasn't designed as parkway, but still, is there any way that we could make that rationale of continuation or building on that existing effort?
It sounds like it's already been made.
Yeah, once this policy comes out, it will apply to every limited access highway. So the key is just to get this to sort of wait on that policy to come out. But I think we can move forward with the rest of the study without, having any fear that PennDOT's going to shoot it down.
Chris, the terminus would be where? From and to? It's from the existing Parkway Trail to the park and ride lot, or where does it end?
Yeah, right now we're looking 313, or I'm sorry, New Britain Road at the end of the Parkway Trail to Pools Corner at 313.
Okay, makes sense.
So
Thank
started
you.
the Walt, we call that the Walt, that's dedicated to the Walt Berry Trailhead, right next to the 202 Parkway there, and then would go from there to the Pools Corner Trailhead.
That's great.
Yeah, it would go along the country club right away. You'd be able to get off at Main Street and, go to the new Wawa. So it gives you a lot of connections.
Yeah, that park and ride lot would be great for that because it doesn't get much use now, but that would really, tie in nicely. Good place to park your car and ride your bike.
Yeah. Okay, how about Shady Retreat?
Okay, so a lot of things have been moving on Shady Retreat since we last met. Just within this past month, we have erosion sediment pollution plan approval. We have our preliminary structure plan that have been submitted. We have the maintenance and protection of traffic signals, signing, pavement marking that have been submitted to PennDOT. The ADA ramp submission is going to be going in today or tomorrow. And then the utility clearance submission will be going in later this month. So what was that, five or so submissions. The other thing that has been moving along is the right-of-way. So we had to take a bicycle easement on one property, which was the Stonington Farm apartment complex. And we got plan presentation approval, which is our first submission to PennDOT. And now we just have some additional steps to follow just to coordinate with the Stonington Farms apartment, send them advanced letters of acquisition, pamphlets, guidance on what to do next. So that's coming along too. So there's 6 or 7 different tasks that are either wrapping up or hitting a stopping point there. So there's a lot of moving parts. We're really trying to move that one along.
What's the timeline on that?
The timeline is pending on PennDOT's reviews of basically the preliminary structure plans, and then how long it will take to get utility clearance. But I imagine, Chris, what do you think? 3 months or so from now?
Yeah, we're hoping to wrap all the plans and approvals by the fall, fall time frame, hopefully bid it, towards the end of the year. And if all goes well, we'll be starting construction in springtime.
So you're doing the handicap accessible ramps as part of the design this
Correct.
time? Okay. That's a good thing. I think that sort of held us up and ran into some problems on the last one.
Yeah, Tom, we had a conversation early on with this project that you were looking into the concrete DWSs, which are those little bumps on the bottom there. Is that still a preference from the township here, or?
Well, I think I'm the only one that brought it up, and I brought it up because the plastic we've been using, there have been 2 problems. One is delamination, and the other is it's slippery when it's wet.
Okay. So
and that was my biggest problem. I hit the one at New Britain Road one day and just started sliding across it.
Wow.
So I'm gonna try to work on that, but as far as I know, PennDOT basically wants you to propose these ramps and gives you like an either or situation. And I mean, Chris, have you seen situations where they would go towards the concrete, or if we're able to specify the concrete over the
they've used it on the Chester Valley Rail Trail. On some of those, there's a million crossings on that thing, and they've used it on that, I know.
Right. We can inquire. I know, I want to say that if a certain municipality or city has a standard, PennDOT would allow you to stick to that standard.
Yeah, and
Right now,
they're making them precast now too, so it's pretty easy. And it's a lot more permanent, I think.
Well, do we have to
Oh, we
do
did.
anything to make that our standard, if that's what we want to do?
We just tell them it's our standard.
Okay.
yeah,
That's
we might
how
have
we've
to write a
always
letter or
done
something.
it. And nobody ever
might have
questions
to-
it. So
You don't have to officially do anything.
I don't think so.
Yeah. A couple things. One, tonight on the board's agenda is an addendum to have Gilmore do the survey work for the access. We're getting the right of way from Stonington Farms. You guys may remember about a year ago, Tom and Steve and Chris and I were out meeting the owners of Stonington Farms. And we, got them to agree verbally that they wanted to be part of this. And one of the things was to have a better handicap access to their site so that their residents can quickly access the trail system. That's going to be a huge selling point for them going forward, renting apartments and everything. They have a lot of people who work at Doylestown Hospital, live in the complex. So that'll be very, very important. So we need that amendment approved tonight. It's, a great project. It's $1 million project for the township and everything. The other thing is Joe Natali from DVRPC contacted me regarding the construction management aspect of the project. And I talked to Dave Tomko, our Director of Operations. It was, instead of putting it out to bid like we've done before, we decided at this point in time with everything going on, it would just be easier to utilize PennDOT's contractor. They have an independent contractor who does construction management services for them. It's TPD. And then their sub is Pannoni. And as you know, we had a lot of success last time because Pannoni was the low bidder when we bid Lower State Road. So we, communicated with Joe that we would be fine with the open-ended contract with TPD, but we'd appreciate it if they would consider utilizing PennDOT services or Pannoni services on the construction management inspection. So we were very fortunate. Rich Gatens, who was the inspector on Lower State Road, kept the contractor under budget, and we were able to do 2 other things, I think, under that project with PennDOT. So very, very positive experience.
Getting a lot of noise from somebody.
Probably me, sorry.
I just didn't know if everybody could hear. So is that it for Shady Retreat? You wanna go to-
Yes, that's it.
All right. So the Bucks County Trail update. Do we have anything? We don't.
Right now, the
Oh, Paul.
Good Park, Palms House Road Trail. We are currently, the engineer that was working on the project at Boucher and James, he left unexpectedly. So we actually have a meeting with Boucher and James tomorrow to kind of get the project back on track and figure out who's going to be the lead on the project going forward. So I really don't have much to report other than that. DVRPC, they're well aware of the delays and the challenges on the project. So we don't foresee any issues with, the funding being pulled or anything like that. It's just kind of it's been a painful project to say the least, but we're getting there. And then Chris is still working on, we had a meeting with Chris and his crew last week on the Dark Hollow Park Trail and some of the challenges there. So we're working our way through that, but we're feeling positive about that. So that's kind of it for now.
Okay. And that timeline is then slipped a little bit.
Yeah, like I say, it's just not significantly, but like I say, we're just trying to, tomorrow we'll have a better idea once we meet with the representatives of Boucher and James to figure out, where the project stands.
Okay, good.
All right.
Pump track.
Hey, Paul, if you could just let us know who the new contact is there so we can
Yeah.
coordinate some of that dark hollow stuff, we'd appreciate it.
We will.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I don't have any reports on the pump track from the borough, so I know Liz Wyckoff couldn't be here. So as far as I know, things are going well at the pump track.
Okay, well, we'll just hold on that. Is there any other business?
Yeah,
New
you
business?
skipped a few things. Old New Road.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh,
The
I'm writing
construction,
all over my agenda, that's why.
Mm.
Okay, Old New Road.
the construction's moving ahead on the sewer line right now. And is the township doing some storm drainage work at the same time?
Yes, we are. And we will be looking to be doing paving and base paving of the roads and curb replacement. And the DTMA will be putting water in from Woodridge, guess that would be southwest.
What's the time frame on the curbing and paving?
Hopefully by the, November timeframe is,
Well, then-
we have certain roads and then we have alternates, and it's all a matter of progress from Bucks County Water and Sewer Authority, and they're, probably a good 8 weeks behind. So
I think
That's
it's
the
time
rock.
to sit down and put that plan together. If we're going to do something along the road
mhm,
and
Yeah.
you're replacing curb, it's kind of, we're up against the wire on that. So maybe,
Well, is that going to just be sharrows, or what is that going to be there? Are we going to actually have a bike
Well,
lane?
what I went over at the last meeting was to work towards putting in a trail along the road from, what is it? Is it Buck? What's the first side?
Buck Road, yeah,
Buck Road out
Toward-
to
Bristol.
Bristol. And some of that will require changing the width of the road a little bit perhaps, and moving the curb. I mean, it's a mix of no curbs, rolled curbs, and all
Yeah.
sorts of things out there. So do you have a drawn plan for what you want to do with the curbs yet, Stephanie?
Yeah. Because it's already
I
been
haven't
put out
seen
to
it.
bid. Tom, I think I've shared your information with both Keith and with Dave Tomko, and
Yeah.
would suggest you and Dave having a conversation at this point so that we
Okay.
can make sure things get incorporated.
Yeah, I think.
Especially if
and-
it's already out to
Because
bid.
we have 2 residents on that street that are very anxious to see something occur there. So I mean, we may not build the trail right now, but we want to make sure that we set it up so that we can easily go back in and put things in when we get grants and things like that.
Well, I think the curbing and the drainage are the 2 big things. If we don't get that right now, it'll just cost more money later on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll set something up with Dave. And I probably need to do a face-to-face on that with the plans in front of us.
Sure.
Or go out to the site and do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll call him today and set something up.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, that's great. What else did I miss here?
The Neshaminy Greenway, Bristol Upper State Roads.
Yep.
Guess I can give an update there. I guess everyone's probably noticed there's a lot of good progress out there on that project. The Upper State Road Bridge is open again, obviously, and the trail section is basically complete on the bridge. I think there was some approach work that still needed to be finished up as far as the trail leading up to the bridge, but a lot of good progress there in Upper State. Now obviously the Bristol Road Bridge is closed and they're working on that barrier now, as well as the crossing at Forest Drive. So, a lot of good progress there. I believe the schedule is to try to finish that project by November timeframe.
Will Bristol be closed that long?
I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I'll double check on the schedule on that.
It looks like they're moving ahead pretty quickly on that right now. I
think
can't
it's
imagine
in
it would be until
Right.
November.
I think Bristol
Yeah,
Road
but
was
I'll
supposed to be
get
closed
back to
till
you.
the end of August.
Yeah, it makes more sense, yeah.
I thought they did a great job on the Upper State Road Bridge.
Oh, they did, it looks great.
And I like the narrow width on the roadway too. It just, I think it's going to be a good addition. And people are using it already anyhow. I see people walking across the trail
Oh,
portion.
yeah, it's had quite a lot of traffic because
Yeah.
people are coming from that neighborhood and using it to get onto the Chamonix Greenway Trail.
Yeah. It'll be nice when that connection from the Cedar Crest Farms comes across there. And then Burke Track's already made the connection into the 202 Parkway.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very interesting how at the time of the construction of the 202, the residents from that neighborhood didn't want to have a connection. And then once it was built, they all came out and said, we need to have a connection.
Right, and they're using it.
And they're, because they were walking over the hill. I mean, they were walking over a pretty big hill to get down to the parkway. It was like, why didn't we have a connection?
Can we invite the Girl Scout that came into our meeting with her mother, like
Yes.
4 or 5 years ago to?
Yeah, Tom, she's
Yeah,
probably
ribbon
in
cutting.
college and if not
Right.
married by this point. She hasn't how long ago
Invite
it
her and her
was.
children to the
You know.
ribbon cutting and have them.
Yeah,
have
right.
her
She's
cut the ribbon.
exactly. I'll have to find her name and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'll see if we can find her name in file.
We need a name for that phenomenon, like NIMBY to fan or something like that.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, anything else?
Yeah, now Turk Road.
Oh, but we did that.
No, we did no, they're separate.
Any updates on Turk Road from last month? I
Well,
think we,
What, do we want to talk about the crossing thing,
yes.
Pebble Hill?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes. So for those unaware, we've identified a problem intersection, basically Pebble Hill Road,
Yeah.
the intersection of Turk Road and Cherry Lane. It's kind of this three-way offset intersection. And we've identified it as a safety concern. We brought it up to a subcommittee and identified a few sight distance issues, some horizontal curve issues. And we got together as a subcommittee and came up with a few suggestions on how to make that intersection safer. One of them, or I'd say most of them, involved putting strategically a three-way stop somewhere. Okay, so through our subcommittee, we proposed that at the corner of Cherry Lane and Pebble Hill Road would be a three-way or four-way stop, depending on how you look at it, because you have that old Pebble Hill Road coming down there to the south. We brought it up with the chief of Doylestown Police, Chief Logan, as well as Dave Tomko, who has a traffic background, and Matt Johnson, who's Doylestown's traffic consultant. And basically, they were not in favor of doing it there. They thought it would introduce some risks of rear end, among some other concerns that the chief had. But in this conversation, we focused our efforts down towards Pebble Valley, which the subcommittee didn't really bring up yet, but that's the one intersection to the south. So in our Turk Road study, if you remember the side neighborhood, let me share my screen here.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Hang on a second. All right. Can everybody see?
Yep.
All right. So this is the intersection we're speaking of right here, Cherry Lane, Turk Road, Pebble Hill. In our Turk Road study, we have a route going down in this area. And so Pebble Valley, this is Pebble Valley Road. And through our conversation, the idea was brought up to have a three-way stop at this corner here. And what that does is a couple things. One, it slows cars down, vehicles down, who are headed northbound into the borough before we hit this S curve here. If you guys remember, I'm sure everybody's driven this a million times, but there's just some limited sight distance here. So by stopping beforehand, you're going to be slower on the approach, and the idea is to make it safer up there. The other idea is we weren't sure in the Turk Road study which side of Pebble Hill Road was ideal. And through our conversations, I think we're leaning now towards the northern side here and spanning across this dam property and getting creative with how we write the right of way take there, so we don't have to assume any responsibility as the township. That being said, if we're on the north side of Pebble Hill Road, there's a very obvious connection that can happen if we introduce a crossing here at Pebble Valley Road. So you'd be on the north side of Pebble Hill Road, and then basically just a straight shot all the way down into the borough. And if anybody remembers the maps of Mercer Gate here, these development plans, we have set aside bicycle easement right along the frontages of these couple properties.
Yep.
So when the chief brought it up, I personally sort of had an aha moment that, like, yeah, I mean, I think this could work. So he gave, verbal approval. Not that that means a lot, but I think if we move forward with a plan to introduce a three-way stop here, that he would be on board.
Are there any other right-of-ways that are required through there that may be problematic?
Do you mean all the way to the borough or just in this specific area?
In that specific area?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I notice the right-of-way that we do have on Cherry Lane, somebody just planted a whole row of shrubs down through it. Have you noticed that, Stephanie?
No.
Take a look at it. I don't know what our policy is on things like that, but I mean, we still own the right of way. They can't take the right of way back from the township, but it just happened, I think, this spring.
Is that new house that just went in?
No, I think it was the older house on the corner, if I remember it right.
Okay.
So.
And if we keep the trail on the north side of Pebble, then that property we were talking about that sold at the corner with Turk and Pebble, that's not even a factor then, huh?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's good.
How
So
about
the dam is what we have to really get creative with.
We got that damn problem.
Yeah.
And at that point, it would be, hopefully a federally funded project, go through the PennDOT process, and that's a few years down the line, and we could figure out something there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Folks, I have to apologize because I have to cut off because I have an appointment. So I'm sorry, I'm going to have to leave our meeting a couple minutes early.
Okay, we'll let it go this time.
I think we're winding up.
All right, thank you so much. Have a great day. I always appreciate everyone's knowledge and just you're making our township so beautiful. It's so desirable.
Sorry for the noise there.
Your security person.
It's dogs on the trail. That's what it does.
Okay. So,
How narrow, I have a question. How narrow, if we come up, can we be going over that, like hanging off that bridge there? I mean, could we, I know people don't like it, but could we, be like,
Yeah, I think we're going to be at a sidewalk almost at that portion of it.
I think it's going to be a dismount kind of situation to avoid
Trail narrows.
Yeah, trail
Which
narrows,
is fine.
dismount, walk it across, something like that.
Similar to a train crossing.
Exactly.
I think we're definitely talking a structure if we stick to, well, either side, we were talking about a structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's an
don't
old
know.
culvert. And PennDOT redid it maybe, what, 5 years ago or
Yeah,
less?
pretty recently.
Yeah. They replaced the brick, you know.
They
but
repointed the stone.
I'm not
and
sure where the dam is though. I guess it's right there.
That's it. And
That-
those people just redid that
It looks
because
like it's right there, yeah.
PennDOT was on their case about it. It was leaking.
Yes, that was the situation.
And
Oh, nice shot.
And you
Yeah.
can
Yeah, really.
see all the new concrete.
yeah.
Hmm.
So we've got maybe, you know, I'm pretty sure the right of way there is still the old 33 feet.
Yeah.
So where the utility poles, you can probably see the shadow from the
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
communications cable, that we don't have a lot of room there.
No.
And
But
we
the
can't-
thing is, as long as we can, and Steve, go back to the picture of the dam and everything, please. So if we can, if you take your little hand and I want to move it on the, like, how far can we, like, where can we start the span? Can we be back further in the grass and avoid,
Well, we're gonna have to.
Oh,
be.
yeah.
like, we
Yeah.
start back
This will be
here
a
and then,
flyover bridge, right?
Yeah,
You're
exactly. We're thinking
Yeah.
some, you know, stub abutments here and then span over it with like a prefabricated truss bridge.
not- Right.
Keep
One
it
of the
small.
bridges like we used down at, you know, some of the other parks, like Covered Bridge Park, little span
Yeah.
like that.
mm-hmm,
Hmm.
yeah,
Well,
Just
the
probably
the
narrow.
people- There are 3 homes back that driveway, I think. And there's one on the corner, and then there's, I forget their name, Vicky Azar owned the old state representative, I forget his name, his house there. And they were all in favor of putting something across there. Now, they're all gone too.
Mm-hmm.
since we
Well, then
started
they don't,
talking.
hopefully they don't know if the Rexes aren't, yeah, I don't know if the Rexes
The
are there or
Rexes-
not.
The Rexes have moved too, I think. That was the
Oh,
second
okay.
house.
Yeah,
And then
Well,
Vic-
this may be the time to try to start to talk to them about, you know,
Yeah.
getting a picture of what we hope to be able to do there, how we are going to avoid impacting the dam and everything like that. The idea
And
would
they
be not to
wanted,
touch,
they wanted access into the borough. They wanted to be able to walk into the
Yeah.
borough. That was
Yeah.
their motivation.
here's my question. Is the plan to go kind of through that woodland there, that little clump of trees and shrubbery and everything? Or is it to go around?
It was to get back down. The road right of way increases as we approach the bypass significantly. And so the thought was to be able to get back into the road again and
Mm-hmm.
have something on the shoulder or adjacent to it.
Okay.
I mean, you can
If
see
you
it
get-
on,
Yeah, if you guys look at the, you know, I mean, take this with a grain of salt because it's GIS, but you can follow this line here where my cursor is. And I mean, this is the dam property going down to 33 feet.
So that's
Just-
the pinch point, yeah.
Exactly. Then it opens up.
so we don't have, there's not a whole lot we have to deal with there.
Well, having a nice little narrow flyover bridge with a dam would force people to get off and slow down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because structurally, I mean, it's, you know, rather than, you know, a trail just getting narrow.
Either that or we put a ramp on either side and you like, you know, ramp, you know, over.
Jump.
Jump. It's a jump. It's like being at the pump track, right? You get a little
Right. We
jump
gotta
going there. Pick up speed, jump over, you know, no, I'm just kidding.
That would be great. Kids
Yeah,
would
I
love
know.
that.
Being silly in the morning here. It'll be very lovely though. It really will.
Oh, yeah. And very well used.
That
Oh,
will
yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So that's
Stephanie,
great.
how about along Cherry Lane there, the Marty Brooks Trail section, is that still on cue?
Yeah, they have not done their development escrow agreements. I did get a call from Mrs. Brooks, and she wanted to attend a bike hike meeting. I told her when they were and to call in or whatever, but she's saying the trail's impacting the potential sale of the project, and we've never seen that happen before. And I think that when the developer understands what the bigger picture is as part of the Turk Road project, they'll appreciate how it all ties together.
Well, I think
It
especially,
impacts them positively.
Exactly,
I think
exactly.
especially in light of what we were just talking about with that nice straight in trail going to the borough and beyond, that's a real tie-in. It's a real plus.
Stephanie, wasn't the issue, and I think we've got an opportunity maybe to redesign it, but when their engineer put this in, it was a straight shot, didn't pay attention to the grades or the trees. And maybe it's worth sitting down and looking at some options there to make it a more interesting path at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
And we just didn't spend the time on it back then to do it right, I don't think.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it would be best if Chris reaches out to the Gilmore's engineer and talks, to the, I think it's Ron Moncrief or whoever, and talk to them about, don't take down all the trees and, make a
Work around
path, but work around it, and weave it. And, Chris, if you or Steve are in the area at some point, I know, Steve, you're dropping off some plans for me to sign later this week. My suggestion is that you get some shots over photos up at the Brenneman Point property, which is off of Iron Hill and Sandy Ridge. Or either that, Tom, you were the photographer in the group. That trail that weaves through there. Dick did an excellent job over on, I don't know if you can go over to Iron Hill and Sandy Ridge, go over to Sandy Ridge and Iron Hill.
Okay, can you direct me up?
I'm looking at your map. Head north.
Okay.
Get on the other side of the borough, stay in the township though. Okay, slow down. You want to be Sandy Ridge, Pine Run. It's up near Chapman. Slide down. Go south. Okay. No, south, but there's Sandy Ridge. Okay.
Oh, Sandy
you
Ridge.
want to get on the other side of get on the other side of Lime Kiln.
Okay.
Keep
Sandy
going.
Ridge.
There, Pine Run. Okay, right there. So where the Pine Run Reservoir is, right along Iron Hill Road, Sandy Ridge and Iron Hill, which I don't know if you're going to be able to drop the little man in there or not, but we have trail along there where it's Appian Way, and hopefully you can see the trail. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you come along there and you get a better view.
There's Paul standing there.
I know. So,
What's he doing there?
See, just stop right here for a second. We'll
Okay.
go back.
I'll go back.
All right, there you go.
Oh,
So
sorry.
the other side's better. You're right. Wow, somebody on there.
Paul Gar.
Okay, you're getting me dizzy here. So that's
All
kind
right.
of what you see on Sandy Ridge. But then if you spin around, sorry, there's feedback. So when you get, okay. So when you're going to the right-hand side there, and also a little bit on the left, but on the right-hand side, you see the trail, and it comes through the woodland. And that's what we want to do on Cherry Lane. You really want to,
Yeah. Preserve as many trees as possible.
Yeah, I mean, Dick
Like
ran
shaded
that
wall.
thing right through. Can you get a shot going to the right there? Because I think way up to the left too, but more so on the right there. Am I right? Yeah, there you go. Stop. Don't stop. Okay, if you see the trail where the American flag is, that's the trail. And it parallels along there, but it looks like it's lost in the trees and it stops. It doesn't. It hangs out between a row of trees along there, all the way down and around the corner on Sandy Ridge to the other side of Iron Hill to the college. Okay, so that's what we want to be able to do on you know, Cherry Lane. So I think what you need to communicate with Gilmore, who was the developer for the Brooks track, you want them to go and look at this and say, duplicate it.
And this is when we were working with Peter Hernandez, I think at the time, Fernandez. And we put down geotextile, put up like 2-inch ballast and built the trail on top of that to help protect the roots of the trees and help to protect the trail from the roots of the trees.
Right.
So we did this one.
What we're going to do on Shady Retreat.
What's that?
We met with Val when she was at Boucher and James, and she's an arborist on Judy's staff, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, she said exactly what, you know, ways to do the trail and the construction on Shady Retreat, where we have all those big trees, and how you do it and protect the roots of those big trees. And you can see they've stayed and they've grown.
I think the trail's a little rough through there though, so we might want to do a second look at it.
But this is
done.
This is probably 15 years old, 20 years old. Oh, older.
Yeah.
I think David was still here. So this is like 20 years old.
Great.
Okay.
All right, Stephanie, I'll reach out to Ron at Gilmore and have we get a discussion going on that.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, did I forget anything else, Stephanie?
I'm just looking. Margaret makes mine like one little page so I can take my notes at the bottom. So each topic. Yeah, I think
got
you're
my
good.
notes all over mine, so.
Yeah, I know. I think we're good, Judy. I think you've been through everything.
Okay, anybody have anything else new? All right, I guess that's it for today then. We're good, 9:01, perfect.
101. Real good.
Well done. Very efficient.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, stay safe.
Thank you.
Okay.